Obviously, not a great evening out on the islands. Didn't do a good job preparing the guys well enough for what that trip was, and shows obviously in the results. So got to do a much better job of responding. It's a beauty of competition. Talked about it after the game, right? We've been very, very fortunate with the way that we've gone about our work, that we've found ways to win in a lot of different ways the past 6 weeks. Obviously a great job by Coach Chang and his staff and the work that they put in. Their passion to play exceeded ours on Saturday night. So now we have to take great joy in learning from that and growing from that, because the challenges don't get any easier, and that's the beauty of this conference and the way that the schedule and everything shapes up for us. So to come back home where we are undefeated, to have an unbelievable opportunity to chase towards a sellout again with the ticket promotion that's going on and the number of tickets that we've already used, with 2 for $40 on GoAztec.com. Excited about that. Excited for some other things that are going to come down the pipe this week for our community, to be there and to support a great team that's playing really, really well. And it happens to be, again, still 7-2, right? We're in a great spot, still first in the conference. Can't lose sight of that and all the great work, the body of work that these guys have done, and excited to lean back into the work and get back to work this evening. Gave the guys off this morning because of the travel to allow them to get a good night's rest, and then we'll bring them in this evening to put that game to bed, turn the page, and start prep for a really good Boise team that's coming in here.
Over the last 3 weeks since the bye, the passing offense has kind of struggled. What do you attribute that to? Is that partly Jaden maybe having an injury, partly just offensive line? What would you attribute that to?
I think it's a culmination of a lot of different factors, right? Jaden's been limited in practice, which obviously limits time on task. The injury that occurred with Bostic and losing his ability and now rotating other guys in there. Again, just how we're managing the workload in a lot of different ways. You get to this point in the season and there's a body of work to where, there's more evidence on tape of who you are. And so doing a better job of scheming and moving pieces around and everything, right, to shake guys free. So a lot of different factors. And again, that's part of the good and the bad, the ugly of what we get to do, right? And the work that is finding the solutions to get that back going as we go. And then again, just having the efficiency that we need to in the throw game for that to be an advantage for us.
How do you get Napier going? He only had 2 targets. I think he has 80 yards in the last 3 games.
Yep. I mean, again, right? Like there's ways that we have to move him around. We have to be intentional about him getting his touches. Want to continue to get him his touches in the return game. But again, like not having the full complement of pieces, right? Like Bostic did a good job of drawing attention away, right? Like Don's continued development needs to draw attention as well, right? But, when your name gets on the Blitnikoff Award watch list and you become a known entity, they're going to get extra attention, and we got to do a better job of creating opportunities for him to touch it and to impact the game in a positive way for the Aztecs.
Coach, obviously you don't value one game over another, but with you guys and Boise State being tied right now at the top of the Mountain West and 4-1, how important is this to get this win to kind of put you guys in the driver's seat on the back end?
Yeah, I mean, it's critically important, right? We only get 12 of these total opportunities, and this is a really, really important one because we're doing it, and it's a very worthy opponent that's going to come into our home. And I think good teams do a great job of defending their home turf, where we are undefeated, where we've played really, really well. And so we have to do a great job in our process and in our prep to continue with that being who we are and the characteristic of our club. But yeah, at this point in time, when you're in November and everyone's jockeying for position and who's going to be playing in the championship game, and it's the 2 best teams in the league, like going head to head, it's really, really meaningful. And this is why our guys are here. This is what we came to build, and these are the moments that we want to create. And now we have to have great preparation so that when the opportunity comes on Saturday, we can seize and we can create those moments. So that's a positive one for us.
And then obviously with it being such a massive game, you guys want to fill out the stadium as much as possible. Does it play into it that because it's such a big game that you guys did the ticket promotion and trying to get as many of the fans in there as possible?
Yeah, absolutely. We want our community to show up and show out, right? Like if we get 1% of San Diego County to show up, it's a sellout. We're talking about 1%. We have 300,000 living Aztec alum in all of San Diego County. The stadium holds 32,500 people, right? And so we have a tremendous community that has great pride in the Aztecs. We have an unbelievable team that is playing really, really well in between those white lines. And so, yeah, we've done a lot of different things to make it accessible and affordable for people to come. And, again, I applaud the administration for doing that. I applaud the support of the season ticket holders that have been with us since day one, going all the way back to last year. And now there's an opportunity for other people to join us and to create an unbelievable competitive environment for us against a team that, again, we can get every single competitive edge that we need, right? When we were up there last year, they had an unbelievable home environment that caused us to have multiple pre-snap penalties, and we've shown, and our fans have shown, most importantly, when they show up and they cheer with great intelligence, because this is an unbelievable sports community, and especially, rally around their football team, that they can create an unbelievable home environment, and we need that again. I mean, point back to this year, Cal, had over 31,000 people that were there, right? Led to multiple pre-snap penalties. So again, the Aztecs are playing, regardless of who else we're playing, right? This city and this town cares about the Aztecs. The Aztecs are playing ball, and I can't wait to see our Aztec fans show up and show out and have an unbelievable evening with us on Saturday.
Sean, if Madsen gets to play, what kind of style of quarterback is he with a year and a half under his belt? And can you define what Dylan Riley is at running back?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the time on task, the number of reps that Metzen has within their system, and his accuracy and total command of the system, he's a special player, right? You don't lead your team to the CFP and the record that they had last year without being an elite operator as a trigger man the way that he is. Their stable of backs this year all do a great job of complementing one another. They all do a really good job running with physicality. I think they do a really nice job of keeping all three fresh and then playing the hot hand as they go. So they have a clear identity of who they are, and we got to do a great job at the line of scrimmage, embracing the opportunity to stop the run and then respond to everything that is built off of that.
What stunned you the most about what happened Saturday? Was it at the line of scrimmage where you got moved all over the place, or was it the tsunami of wide receivers that were flooding the zone? Was it the quarterback? Because that was not Aztec football.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably more surprised, more or less, by the things that we can control. We didn't control to the level that we need to, right? Just the things that necessarily don't show up on tape, or the stats of it all, but just kind of our approach and the intensity and the passion and the effort and the execution across the board. That's not who we are. That's not what we've proven to be. So we're a good team that, again, had a bad night out on the island. We traveled back. We've had time to lick our wounds, and we'll clean up the mistakes, and we'll get out of it, and we'll move forward. And we got a great opponent with a sense of urgency that we need to prepare for this week to get us right and to get us refocused.
A tough 5-hour flight coming home to try to get that out of your system?
Yeah, it was longer than that. I mean, we landed at 8:30 on Sunday morning. I mean, we had to circle above the city for a little bit. So, we got back here in the building at 9 a.m. and, I slept on the plane. I took a power nap in the office and jumped on Sunday Night Football last night and got home for 5 hours of sleep. And so what now what? No one cares. Need to work harder, right? It is what it is. We had that. They had a bye. You guys going to care a week from today when we have the conversation? No. Right? That's what it is. That's the joy of competing, right? Embrace what the external factors are, pour into what you can control, love the opportunity, love the challenge. Let's go make it really, really meaningful, because it's really, really hard. Love it.
You Saturday is a one-off?
Well, probably our second time that we didn't handle the road the right way, right? The only 2 losses that we've had. And the last time that we had a moment in a night like that, we responded accordingly, and I look forward to our team doing that again.
In the day and a half after the game, what did you analyze on the defense that just wasn't there?
We didn't do a good job of containing the quarterback. Allowed him to get out in space, and then we weren't able to plaster with the wide receivers. That created extended plays. Yeah, I mean, again, things that we can control, things that we need to do a good job with, things that we've been intentional about, that, we found a worthy opponent and a worthy adversary that made us pay.
Do you expect Madsen to be the quarterback Saturday, or are you prepared for that?
I'm waiting for Coach Danielson's press conference to see what he has to say. I'll chat GTP it and see what he has to say as well, but we'll plan accordingly with all of it. I mean, if we've learned nothing else this year, right, kind of one of the themes in seasons always kind of have themes, right? One of the themes that we've had is preparing for a new quarterback, preparing for a new play caller. That kind of seems to be something that, we are accustomed to at this point in the game.
If Chris Johnson had played, would he have followed Jackson Harris, or are you stuck to size?
I mean, if Chris would have played, it would have made a difference, right? He's one of the best corners in the game in all of college football, and his leadership and his confidence that he gives the whole secondary, it would have made a tremendous difference.
The defense had 15 missed tackles, which is uncharacteristic for this year's defense. Was there anything specific that you could see on film that led to that?
Yeah, I mean, it's just the approach of angles, the speed that they were able to equate in space, and then again, just having proper angles to support as we go forward with it, right? I mean, there was also some really, really good hits that we had when we'd had the proper approach, right? In all phases of the game, within teams where there was even more space, right? And within defensive football as well. So it's kind of like a batch of cranberries, right? Some of it was really, really sweet. Some of it was really, really sour. At the end of it, right, through it all, you got to appreciate it all as we go. So need to do a better job, obviously, with that. We'll continue to refine it. Again, that's one of those base fundamentals that I believe that we can control, that we need to do a better job with.
Coach, you started off the game well. Defense played well, got the interception, scored some points. You had a 3 and out. Bryce Phillips was called for that taunting penalty. It seemed to be, from there on, the defense just didn't play as well. Do you see that as being some sort of litmus test?
I mean, again, like it's one of those controllables, right? Like it's a great play. You know, we start defensively with the pick. We get another 3 and out, and then again, you know, it was an unforced error there, right? With something that we can control that we haven't done. Like we haven't had a taunting penalty all year, right? Our guys play with passion, they play with enthusiasm, and you know, so we have that moment, and then obviously that leads to points, and then we didn't do a good job responding from there on out. You know, now again, that's just not on the defense; it's also on the offense, to where there was too many 3 and outs to start the game. 4 out of our first 7 possessions were 3 and outs, so we need to be much more efficient in that regard. And then by the time you get to halftime, because of the inefficiency on offense, the defense is out there for too much, and you know it's a tough ask. So we got to do a better job of playing complementary football, which we've done the previous weeks. That has led to wins, and again, like life in this game, right? Like, you know that there's going to be adversity, you know there's going to be hardships, you know that there's going to be tough lessons to learn, and because of that, it forces you to grow, and it forces you to become your best. So, you know, in a very weird way, again, like I'm grateful for the opportunity to learn and to teach, because there's probably some things that we've been coaching and emphasizing that, you know, maybe the ends have been justifying the means, and this will give us an opportunity to refocus, to double back down on our process, and, you know, again, be playing our best ball when our best ball is needed this week.
The Boise rivalry, when San Diego State started to become something in this conference, it was by virtue of beating the Broncos here, going up and down on the blue turf. I don't know if this rivalry stands in the players' mind as much as the oil can rivalry, but this is kind of big time for what this thing has accomplished against Boise.
Yeah, I mean, it's historically 2 of the best programs in the league, right? So if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best, right? And last year, obviously, they won the conference. They went to the CFP, right? They were picked yet again for however many years in a row, or X number of years out of the past 20 years, to win the conference, right? So our guys know what it is. We're not going to shy away from that. They're a really good team. They're really well coached, you know, and they got great pride and confidence in how they go about the game. So whether you call it a rivalry or a tremendous opportunity that we need to go seize, however you look at it, right? You know, there's not a trophy on the line, right? Maybe as we go forward, there'll be a cool opportunity to create some new trophies, some new rivalries in the Pac-12. But this one's important because it's 2 really good teams that I think the fabric of how we're built and how we're wired and the cultures that we've created are very, very similar. And it's, you know, kind of that age-old deal of game respects game. And to your point, right, like it really became a thing when you knew it was one of these 2 programs that was going to bring home the conference championship, and the work that our kids have done, most importantly, have put us back in that conversation again. And yeah, this game this week is going to take a championship effort in the preparation. It's going to take a championship approach in our focus, and it's going to take a championship, you know, manner in which we execute on Saturday to stay in position of where we want to be as we go forward here in the month of November.
Do you ever refer to them as a team up in Idaho?
Nope.
Do you change your messaging after a game like that in your process, or does everything stay the same?
No, it's pretty the same, right? I'd like to think that as you guys are sitting here, like I'm still the same coach that I've been for the past, you know, this whole season since I've been here, right? Like I'm confident in our approach. I'm confident in our process. There's things that we need to continue to emphasize, and there's things that we need to continue to learn. And again, like that's the joy of competing, right? And if we're going to talk about, hey, process over results, then we can't deviate from our process just because we came up short this past weekend and we didn't justify or, you know, get complacent that everything is perfect with our process through the past 6 weeks. Like we're always looking to improve. We're always looking for how we can do this together better, and we're never going to shy away from the hard work to do both those things, right? So that process is going to remain true. It's going to remain consistent, and we're constantly asking, how can we do this better? We've been asking that for the past 6 weeks, even when we've been winning, right? And just because we came up short, we're not going to stop asking that question, right? Like that's never going to be who we are, to feel that we've arrived, that we're comfortable, that we're going to grow complacent. Like we're going to continue to push edges, and this climb that we're on never freaking ends.
Do players move on easier or quicker from a loss, or coach?
I don't know. You guys will get an opportunity to talk to the players. You know, I've probably had an opportunity to process it a little bit more and have dived deeper into the next opponent than the guys have, and we'll put it to bed, you know, this evening. But I know that everyone in the organization needs that sense of urgency to learn from what happened. It's been 24 hours, so we need to show up and, you know, learn from the tape this evening, and then turn the page and get to know the next opponent and respect the process of winning and hold that in really, really high regard, because we're going to need to be at our best this week.
obstacles are going to come, do they eat at you, or are you more of a mindset of let's just fix them well?
Again, like I obsess about the process, right? Like I try not to have my happiness tied to an end outcome. That'd be a pretty miserable existence if I only get 12 opportunities to be happy, and those 12 opportunities are when we win, right? So I feel very fortunate to be in the position to lead this program, very humbled by the game. I always am, through the doors and the opportunity that it has provided me individually, through the doors and the opportunities that it has provided our kids, the unbelievable relationships that I've been able to build because of this great game. Like, that's very, very humbling, right? And I'm very grateful to serve our guys each and every single day, and to show up and to be present for them today when they need our love and they need our support, to pick them up, to dust them off, to let them know that we're a damn good team. We're sitting in first in conference, and let's go show the world who we are unapologetically.
What is Boise different like post Ashton Genty?
They're using more than one tailback. They're using 3 now. He was a generational talent, so when you have him, you just use him. Now they have a stable of backs that are really, really talented, but they still rely on that run game in a big-time way.
Tashi Dorji got 2 punts on Saturday. Was that just to get him some game reps? Or?
No, he had earned that, right? Practice performance matters. And so he's been practicing at a really, really high level. And we talk about competing each and every single day. And if we're going to say to the guys, hey, practice performance matters, and you're performing at an elite level in practice, well, then you're going to get an opportunity, right? And then it was great to see Tashi step up and step in. He blasted one of those things, if I'm not mistaken, over 60 yards, right? And so, again, like, talk all the time, but we want to have our words be meaningful, right? And so if we're going to say practice repetition is game reality, you can point to Tashi in the way that he's gone about his work and the way that he's performed in practice and how he stepped into the moment, because he's been handling practice like a game. So not a surprise to anyone, within the program, what he did. And I hope it's a great eye-opening experience for all the guys within the program, right? That, when my time comes, like, you create your time by how you work and how you perform each and every single day. And that constant improvement and that constant competition is the spirit of what makes our culture so strong and moves this thing forward as we go week in and week out.
Do you have any sense for how the team responded post-loss? I mean, confidence is a real big part of the game. Do you have any insight into that?
Yeah, there was a great look in their eye. There was a resolve in their heart, and they knew that they didn't perform to the level that we are capable of. So I'm excited to get with them, this evening in the next formal setting and go back to work. But again, guys, we're 7-2, right? We're 7-2. There's not many teams in the country that can say that. And we're going to respond. Again, like I've talked at length about it. We've talked at length about it in here. Like, this team has done a great job responding to all adversity, all hardship, all things that have been thrown at them. And so now, again, if that's who we've proven to be since January 20th when we've come back, like, we shouldn't let a little bit of adversity rock us and think that that's not going to be who we are, right? Our kids are authentic, and I know that they're going to show up in the right way to lean into the work. And again, they got tremendous pride in their individual performance. They got tremendous pride in this team's performance, and they got tremendous pride in this city that they represent, and the opportunity that we have in front of our community to have a great evening on Saturday night, again, against a really, really good opponent. But that's what makes this so much fun. That's what makes this so much meaningful. Like, to have a worthy opponent the way that we have each and every single week, but to have an opponent like really challenge you and stress you the way that Hawaii did and the way that Boise is going to, in this prep, like, that's how you become your best, right? Like, I can play one-on-one basketball with my son. Like, it ain't gonna make me any better as a basketball player. It's gonna help him, right? But like, you have to test yourself against the best. And again, like, Hawaii's a 7-win team too. Like, that's a really good team that's playing at a really, really high level, right? So like, all factors of it are true, and we have to respect the process of winning. We have to lean back into our process and know that the process that we've been working since January 20th, behind closed doors, and now that has been paying dividends in the fall. Again, we're not going to deviate from that. We're going to do it better. We're going to reaffirm. We're going to pull together. We're going to pull harder, and have pride in our competition in the way that we get to go compete each and every single day.
Sean, last week you said one of your probably concerns was post-Hawaii game coming back, long travel. What do you do differently post-Hawaii on what I assume becomes a bit of a shorter week?
Yeah, so kind of mentioned it there briefly, but we typically have been this year meeting in the morning on Mondays, and then allowing the guys to go to class, and then we bring them back in the afternoon to turn the page and do some, opponent preview work. That was something that we changed within our work schedule. So obviously no one got a well-rested night on the plane and the turbulence and all the things that we got to feel, and the amount of time that we spent on the plane after the game Saturday and when we got back on Sunday. So we had thought it through long and hard, and we gave the guys off, the team off this morning so that everyone could get a good night's rest this evening, and then we'll bring everyone back this afternoon, this evening to do the work. But again, just gave them time to get rested, right, to get a good quality night's rest so that by the time we get back to the physical work on Tuesday morning, right, that they're well rested and that they've gotten their body clocks and all the things from the travel, back in line.
You embraced a lot of military teams here.
Yeah.
What do you have planned, if anything, for tomorrow, talking about Veterans Day?
Yeah, I mean, we'll make it aware. Obviously, what we get to do and all that we've been talking about now for the past close to 30 minutes, right, is because there's unbelievable men and women that are currently serving or have served to defend our freedoms and allow us to obsess about this silly game, because there's other people that, are doing some much greater things and are willing to put their lives on the line for this beautiful country. So really, really appreciative of all that they do. We have some things in the works to be able to take care of some veterans and people of the community who have supported veterans in a big time way, to give them some free tickets to the game this weekend. But be remiss if I didn't say thanks, obviously to all of our vets and all that they do to allow us to, again, do what we do without having to think about or worry about the evils that are out there.
Is there any particular part of the process detail that you can provide that you think is like the most important, or is it all pretty much the same?
It's all a priority, right? But I think deep at the core of who we are and what we're about is a humility that I often speak to. I think if you're not humble and you're not grateful to know and understand that there's always margins and areas to grow, then you grow stagnant, right? And so the only way that you receive coaching and to be able to lead yourself individually or the whole team to a place that they can't get to on their own is to have humility, to know that there's things that you don't know and that you have to receive the coaching, and that goes for the coaches alike, right? Like kind of spoke to last week, asking for people who had been on that trip before. Like, it had been a long time since I had been on that trip, like close to 20 years as a player, right? So there was things that I didn't know. So humbly went to people who had knowledge so that there was no blind spots, to be able to navigate that to the best of my ability, right? So I think the humility piece of it is really, really important. And then I also think the joy in competing, right, and knowing and understanding all that comes with it, right? I think there's a very distinct difference between happiness and joy, right? Like, I get some happiness from my morning coffee, but the minute that coffee's gone, like, the happiness leaves because the coffee's over, right? Like, I get great joy in leading everyone in our program and competing at the level that we get to compete at, regardless of the circumstances. Like, it's what we signed up for, and I think if you can find joy in, again, what other people perceive as good, bad, or ugly, like, the event just is. And is there a preferred outcome? Is there a preferred event that I would like? Yeah, right? But I don't shy away, and I don't believe, the members of our program shy away from the simple facts of the matter are what they are, and we can complain about that, we can obsess about that, we can get bogged down by all the negative things that are, or you can find the solution, right? Like, you're going to complain about the problem, or you're going to be about the solution, right? And again, like, I think you have to take joy in finding those solutions. And our kids have done a great job with that. Our staff has done an unbelievable job with that. And we'll find the solutions yet again this week. And we want our fans to be a part of that solution as well, so we can make it a really, really hard environment for Boise to come here and compete in.